I hope you are doing well, especially those of you who are working on very challenging projects. Okay, sometimes we have to work on challenging projects and the customer is not very happy, the customer is dissatisfied. It's not a very pleasant feeling. Okay, but one famous German composer once said that the best way to not think about your misfortune is through your occupation. And one of my occupations was to redesign web design. So the context was about the customer. The customer actually is a nice person. He's very kind. He's very pleasant. I've done already some projects for him. So one fintech SaaS MVP, he was very satisfied. Then I did a fintech mobile app for his own customer, satisfied. Everyone was satisfied. So the next project he wanted me to do was to redesign his own company website. So, and on this one, it was a disaster. Okay, the customer was dissatisfied. Okay, normally when a customer is dissatisfied with you, he doesn't want to work with you again. But as you can see, he gave me another project afterwards. Okay, so dissatisfied is a little bit exaggerated. Actually, he was more disappointed than dissatisfied. Okay, actually, he was hoping a lot. He was expecting a lot. I don't know exactly what he was hoping for, what he was expecting. He was convinced that I could deliver something and that something I could not deliver. Simple as that. Okay, so what was the displeasure? At that time, I was in Thailand. I had a company in Thailand. I had team members, and one of them was this graphic designer. So normally, when you build a new website, so there are several steps. First step, you have a graphic design agency. They build some Figma, they build some patterns or whatsoever. They send it to the customer validates, and once the customer validates, then the developer starts coding, okay? I was thinking, well, the designer and me, the developer, we are under the same roof, okay? So we will save time, so the designer will do some Figma, then I will code right away. I will deploy a demo version on Vercel. Then I send the link to my customer, and the customer can see what I've done, okay? And I thought that I did everything right. It was mobile first, yes. On conventional laptop monitors, it was okay. But on a larger screen, well, it was disgusting. It looked like this. Okay, so what was the problem? The customer just told me it's awful what you did. Then he took his camera, shot a picture, sent the picture to me, and I saw this. This is, I don't know, maybe 49-inch screen, something like 32:9 ratio. And yes, it was looking like this. So what is the problem? So first, on the right, what you see, well, the margins are not very big. It's okay on mobile phone, but the larger the screen is, the larger the margins must be. Okay, this is what I figured out. Second thing, this kind of design, it works if your text is very long. But if you only have one or two sentences, then you have just emptiness. And on the left side, so it was for the menu, it was for the calendar. Well, on a laptop, it was looking okay, but on this screen, well, too much space. You have a scroll banner that has nothing to do here. So anyway, it was awful. So I had to find a solution. Okay, so the customer cared more about the message. Like, I want you to make a website that communicates like AI, that communicates blockchain, fintech, advanced tech, whatsoever. So some things that talks modern. But on my side, I identified another need for my customer. Actually, I needed a layout that would be able to be displayed on large screens. Okay, my customer is what we call an early adopter. So the latest device he will buy, the latest phone he will buy, the latest technology he will try, the latest tool, whatever, and his customers probably the same. Okay, the thing is, well, my designer and myself, we had no solution. We had no layout, we had no template, we had nothing to satisfy my customer and his customers on large devices. Well, so whether we have the designer and the developer under the same roof or not doesn't change anything. Okay, so we have tried several things, and at the end, well, the customer just said, okay, forget it, let's ditch it. Okay. So how did I react? Okay, so I did the project not with you, but with Next, actually, but it's the same. Okay, attitude is the key. So 10 years ago, I was in Da Nang. I lived in Da Nang, so I worked at a Vietnamese company. And the founder of that company said, attitude is the most important thing in whatever you do. Okay, that founder, so I still have much respect for him. He had lots of wisdom, except for one thing, hiring his managers. Okay, so for example, when a project fails, which happens a lot, well, you have two possibilities. Either you say, crazy customer, crazy demand, or we have Malaysian customers that are crazy, the Chinese are like this, or like that, okay? Or you just take the responsibility, you say, okay, so I couldn't make it, I didn't have the capability to serve my customer, to give him what he wanted, okay? So I was way off, okay? From that point, two more possibilities. Either you say, okay, so I had to work on a tech stack that I don't master. This happens a lot in IT. Maybe some of you have already worked with technologies that you do not master. The project fails. You say, okay, forget it, move on, and then next one. Or the second possibility, well, I was thinking, that's too bad because, it was involving HTML, JavaScript, CSS, Next, Vue, and I mastered these technologies, but nevertheless, I could not give my customer what he wanted. So actually, the only person that was dissatisfied was myself. Okay, so I was thinking, there must be a way to solve this issue. Okay, so what was the problem? In order to understand the problem, so first, you need to know that for every problem, there is a solution. But in order to provide the solution, you need to identify the problem. And for this, we need to do a little bit history. Okay, so we are in 2026. Year of the horse, Chok Mang Nam Mui. Okay, we are in Hanoi. We are at Forkit event. Okay, thank you, Forkit, for inviting me. Thank you for granting me 45 minutes. If I have the chance to be shorter than 45 minutes, then you will enjoy a longer coffee break. Okay, and in 2026, there are many things that we have and that we take for granted. Okay, but in 2002, when it was already year of the horse, well, the websites looked more like this. Okay, so at the time you had a thin menu on the left, you had the content on the right. It was not aligned, it was not responsive, it was nothing, but people were happy with this. On some websites, the menu was at the top, and that's it. At that time, JavaScript was not very popular. It was just HTML. And sometimes there was not even CSS inside. Okay. Well, some websites, they didn't have any menu. They had a table, a real table of contents with many links to click on to go to pages. Okay, so at that time, it was like this because the industry standard back then was this kind of screen, okay, those cathodic monitors, 4:3 ratio, okay, maximum width was 1024. And when web started, well, it started on this machine, okay? So the initial web design was on those. When I told you that we take everything for granted, in 2007, so a game changer, okay, the first smartphone, before we had no smartphone. Okay, so it was a real disruption in the hardware industry. But in the web design, nothing happened. It is just that we said, okay, let's take the design and let's make it responsive so that we can see our websites on iPhones. Okay? So you all know this sentence. If you're not mobile first, you're last. How long did this maxim last? Well, too long, okay? Because when the iPhone came out, at the same time, another silent disruption, okay? We ditched those cathodic monitors and we started to embrace flat screen with different sizes and different ratio. But still, we have not done many changes in the web design. The only changes were maybe we improved the colors, we just decided that triangles would be better than squares, or that plain circles would mean this and empty circles would mean that, etc., etc., maybe on color matching, etc. But apart of this, nothing changed much, okay? So the challenge was, how do you fit the web design, okay, that was initially designed for 4:3 monitors into larger 16:9, 1920 pixel large devices? Okay, what solution have we come with? Well, you know this solution, just limit the existing initial web design with, okay, maximum 1200 pixels. Bootstrap, maximum 1328 pixels. Tailwind, maximum 1400 pixels, okay? So just limit the web design width, which means just limit the initial web design, limit the web design, limit the design, limit the web, limit. Okay, question. In which industry have we seen limitations lifted through limits? I mean, I've seen industry minimize, optimize, reduce, improve, but limit. The only people I know who limit are the tiger mothers. You know, when tiger moms, they see limitations in your school performances, they start to limit everything. They limit interaction with your friends, they limit game time, they limit interaction with your family, they limit everything, starting from interaction. Okay, it works to some extent because you score well at school, but life is not about scoring well at school, it's about interaction. Okay, so, okay. Not only in tiger mom education, there are limitations in limiting, also in web design, okay? So if already this is on a 1920 pixel large screen, ratio 16:9. So this is my laptop, okay? This is how it looks like on my laptop, okay? And you see that, for example, if it's done with Tailwind, so the maximum width is 1400 pixels. And you see that it is already an issue because you have very wide margin on each side, which is not a margin, it is just emptiness. So imagine on much larger devices. So this is a 32:9 up to 57-inch curved gamer monitors. You may have seen the Samsung Galaxy G9, blah, 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 blah. The maximum width is 7,680 pixels, okay? So The same website looks like this. Okay, but hey, it's mobile first. Another example, okay, this is FlyScoot. FlyScoot, so if you know that Singaporean long-haul low-cost carrier, okay, I mean, Singapore, this is the worst airline booking portal that I've ever seen. It's ugly, it's slow, it is buggy, it is everything but good. I mean, in Singapore, they have very good developers. One of them is Ivan Yu, okay? And this is how Singapore honors their superstar developers with such a horror. Huh? Okay, well, if you want to find a job, if you apply at an early adopter, well, this is LinkedIn. If you prefer to fly with AirAsia, well, I mean, this is the problem that many websites have. You have a huge banner stretching from left to right, and then you have the footer doing the same, stretching all over the screen, and then you have a tiny thing, the tiny content in the middle. Okay, if you want to know the Chinese quote that say that one picture is 10,000 words, well, you can use ChatGPT with this gigantic padding template. Okay, talking about modern AI, okay, because I mentioned ChatGPT, I'm also using AI, even if I'm an also cool programmer, but I'm using AI. I've tried Ready.ai, which is a Singaporean product, and the most famous product is Lovable. So I went to a workshop in Kuala Lumpur in November, and it was a workshop about Lovable. Lovable is supposed to be the new magic from Sweden. So we were supposed to be able to code an app in 5 minutes, an app that would have social impact. Well, as a developer, I opened the hood, and when I saw what was generated, alter Schwede, like the Germans would say. It is built on Tailwind 3, React 18. At that time, we already had Tailwind 4 and React 19. I can tell you that it is painful to migrate from Tailwind 3 to Tailwind 4. Well, this is Malaysian Airlines, so on a 1629, well, okay, if you want to book a flight, that's okay. But on bigger monitors, well, if you are looking for the gateway to Asia, well, you have to scroll beyond to see the form to book your flight. Okay, this is a very beautiful website of a very nice restaurant in Saigon. Okay, it is called 16. It is named after the King Louis the 16th. My opinion is they should have named it after Louis the 14th because I went there on February the 14th. Not with this girl, but with my girlfriend. Actually, I don't know who this girl is. There is no way I can recognize her on the street because we don't see her eyes, and on the 3229, we don't even see her face. Okay, so well, as you can see, she has no face, no name, no number. Okay, this is Meetup. So, Meetup, they solve the issue their own way. They just put a thin menu on the left and then everything stretched over the right. Okay, but that solves partly the problem. Myself, I had to do something similar for a customer. The customer was happy, but I found it just ugly. Because this design, well, it reminds of people who are getting bored and they are uncomfortable with their baldness. So what they do, they let their hair grow like this, and then they cover their baldness like this. Okay. So in English, it is called a combo verb. But combo verb is a little bit mocking, is a little bit pejorative. So it's not a respectful word to use. I've tried to find the polite expression for this kind of hairstyle, but I couldn't find it. So if you know it, maybe you can tell me after. Okay. So the problem with the combo verb design, some people can style it well. Okay, but for this, you need unlimited charisma, unlimited knowledge. I don't have it. Okay, I don't know how to style combo verbs, whether with my hair or whether with web design. Okay. So my question is, what to do with the existing initial web design? Okay, and especially in the hardware industry's continuous disruption context. I'm not sure if in English it is grammatically correct, but what do I mean? What I mean is that the hardware industry is competing to offer us the best devices. Okay, so for example, we have 16 to 9 devices. You have Samsung, LG, who are competing to provide those gamer monitors. Okay, the Chinese are also competing, maybe the Taiwanese, so LG, Samsung, MSI. Who knows what they will offer us? Maybe they will offer us 64 to 9 ratio monitors, maybe 114-inch monitors. Maybe the monitors will be, I don't know, 14,000 or 15,000 pixel wide. I don't know. Right now, we have curved monitors. Who knows if later they will not serve quarter circle or half circle monitors like this. And the mobile industry, well, we have fold phones. So I have one myself. Okay, we have fold phones like I don't have the ultimate one, but it's okay. Honor, the Chinese manufacturer, also provides fold phone. Oppo, so they are all embracing fold phones. Samsung, they offer trifold. Who knows if tomorrow, what if tomorrow we have quadri, penta, hexa fold phones? What if we could have also roll screens? Imagine tomorrow we have a mobile phone that would look like a papyrus that we would roll like this. We would not even need to touch the screen. We would just, with the eyes, and maybe the camera would recognize what we are looking at, and we could choose in the menu with just a nod or with just a blink. Who knows? Maybe we'll have devices that will look like those banners, etc. So we don't know exactly what they will offer, and we still have our existing web design. What shall we do? Well, my answer is we should just discontinue. We should just ditch it because it is outdated. It has served well, but now we need to do something. Okay, so I came with one answer. I came with my answer. Okay, it's just my answer. It is not the answer. It is just not only one answer. It is just my answer. Maybe someone else will have another answer. Okay, how to redesign a web design. So my answer is this. The initial web design, it's all about size. Okay, so for example, we care about size when we think mobile first, okay? So one size fits all, okay? This is what mobile first means, okay? Or one content fits all sizes. Is it really? Well, we have seen that it is not the case. On larger screens, it doesn't work anymore. And is it IT? Is it the way we should think in IT? One size fits all. It's okay if we do fast fashion, if we do ready to wear. Okay, it's a reality in ready to wear, one size fits all. Yes, it is ready to wear. Okay. So my take is that the context and the content must be consistent. So what do I mean with this? Well, I think that we need a content that is specific to a specific range of screen ratios. Okay, so I'm not talking about sizes, I'm talking about ratios. I've identified 3 different ratio ranges. Okay, the first one is a ratio that is less than 1:1. Okay, so it can be your phone in portrait orientation, it could be any tablet, but it could be also a monitor that you rotate in portrait orientation. So you see, most of them are mobile devices, but not only. It can be also a fixed device that you orient in portrait. The second range that I've identified is 1:1 to approximatively. I will give you the exact value after, but approximatively 23.1 to 9. Okay, so it is, for example, my phone that is unfolded. Okay, it is any desktop monitor, any laptop, but you see that it is not only non-mobile device. Okay, you take any iPhone, you rotate in landscape, and then you are in the second ratio range. Okay, and the last one that I identified, according to the existing products in the future, there could be more. Okay, but I will give you the formula. But with the existing products that we have, is when you have a screen ratio that is higher than 23.1 to 9, well, it is any gamer monitor, okay, like the Samsung G9, blah, 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 the curve monitor, but it is also my phone that is folded in landscape orientation, okay? This one is greater than 23.1 to 9, okay? You see that I'm not even mentioning mobile or size or mobile first or whatsoever. I'm just talking about ratios, okay? Also, I'm not telling that you have to make one specific page per ratio range. I'm just talking about a content, okay? The modern frameworks allow us to do this, okay? So what I proposed was that for one specific ratio range, we should have one specific layout, okay? So for example, if you have any device in portrait mode, well, you will have a layout that is on one part. If you have a ratio range that is similar to my laptop, you will have 2 parts. And if you have a larger monitor, like either my folded phone in landscape orientation or a gamer monitor, then you would have 3 parts. So for example, on a Samsung G9 57-inch, okay, it is 7,680 pixels large. You would have something that looks like this, okay? So, and this is my personal website on such large device, okay? So of course, I didn't tell you what my name was, okay? This is my name, Michel Boretti. This is myself, and this is what I do, okay? I'm a software developer, full stack, web and mobile, okay? So here, what do I have? So I have a picture with my name, but it could be your company logo and your company name. The second part, okay, in this case, it is my title, but it could be your slogan, the company slogan. It could be the UVP. And the third part is the scrollable content. Okay, so if I scroll down, then I can display, for example, my customers' recommendations. Okay, so this is on a 3-part mode. Now on my laptop, on 2-part mode, I decided just to display so my picture with my name, and then my title. So again, if it's your company, you could have your company logo, the company name, and the slogan, or the UVP. And if you want to see, for example, the recommendations, well, you can do it like this, okay? So, and then on a mobile device, well, I've decided that all the content would be scrollable, okay? And so you could have your name, logo, UVP or slogan, and then if you want to scroll, then you see the recommendations. So if you want to scan it, you can scan it and see how it looks like on your phone. You can check, you can rotate, you can unfold, and so on. Okay. If you don't have the time to scan, that's okay. I can give you the link. Okay. So this was my former company in Thailand, okay? This same page, how does it look like on all three ranges? Okay, well, so this is on a normal desktop. So you see you have the logo, the address, a picture, and my contact. But on the one-part mode, well, I decided to put the phone number, the email address above the address. And on the three-part mode, logo, picture, and address with phone number and email on the third part. I can decide where to put, for example, the action like Google Map. I decided to put on the footer of the third part, but I could decide that on another layout, then I will put it somewhere else, etc., etc. So in a nutshell, the initial web design, we think in fixed sizes like MR2, PY4, SpaceX1. My proposal is we should think in ratio. Okay, I'm not even talking about pixels or about DPI or whatsoever. I'm talking about ratio. So next question is which one? Which ratio? Do you want to do 50-50, 1/3, 2/3, 25-75, 20-80, etc., etc.? Hard to tell because one ratio may be good for one ratio range and bad for another one. Example, this is the website of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. If you look at this website on those old cathodic monitors on a 403 computer, well, it looks great. You have a beautiful picture on the right, and on the left, you have the logo, you have the title, you have a sentence that describes the orchestra in the best way, and then you have a button for you to know more about that orchestra. It's very well balanced. Okay, you have good proportions, it's not too empty, and so on. But if I look at the same page on my laptop, 16:9, well, it's a little bit more difficult because first, the picture is cropped, so you don't see the whole picture on the right, and on the left, well, it's more unbalanced, okay? You have every element cropped together and you have lots of emptiness all around, okay? This is the problem that if you are using fixed sizes, well, if you are lucky to be on the right device, that's okay. If not, okay, the restaurant, okay, why it is called 16 and not 14? Because they chose 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 4x4, 16. Simple as that. Okay, so on a 32:9, here you see the picture. Well, you don't see anything. You don't see the woman. The second picture actually looks better on the larger screen than on the smaller screen. But then you see the chandeliers and the fountain, they look well on the 16:9, but on the 32:9, we don't see much about these pictures. And what I was telling you about the text, here you have short text, short sentences. On 16:9 devices, they look great, but on larger devices, they don't work anymore. Okay. The same way, one ratio may be good for one content and bad for another one. Example, the MRT in Singapore. Okay, 50-50 on 32:9. Very great. On the left, the station, the name of the station. On the right, the map of the station. Looks great, well proportioned. Now, 50-50, not okay on 32:9. So same ratio, same proportion, etc. But here what you have the name of the station, lots of emptiness, and then you have the map of the line where everything is cropped together. Doesn't look quite good, in my opinion. Okay, so which ratio to take. If 50-50 works on some and not on some other, if 2/3, 1/3 is okay on some ratio and not on some, okay. Well, the one that I've picked up and tried is this ratio, phi, known as the golden ratio. So maybe you are familiar with the Fibonacci suite, okay, which is just approximating the golden ratio. But the golden ratio, the value is more or less this one, okay? So it is used in nature. Some painters have used it, okay? In architecture, it has been used also in India, also in France, also in architecture, and also in painting. Okay, so if it is used by nature in architecture, and if it is understood by painters, why not by developers? Okay, so I've tried it, and then this is... okay, so here are some examples. Okay, everything is computed. Those are not fixed sizes. Those are computed with CSS and JavaScript according to the ratio of the screen. Okay, this is my company. This is what I did for one customer in Thailand. Okay, 3-part mode, same page on a 1-part mode. Okay, the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. Well, if we apply the golden ratio and if we apply the same ratio there, okay, we can solve that problem. Okay, remember I promised you to give you the exact value. So 33.129 was only approximative. The real value is phi square. Okay, and this is the formula that I've been applying for all the websites that I've been doing. Okay, time to give credits. Okay, who makes the drawing? So first, the talented graphic designer Tanwa Desiri from Thailand. Okay, he's the one that makes all the drawing, all the graphics that you have seen. He can also make beautiful pictures of Vietnam. Okay, me, I don't have his talent. Okay, so I have to compensate with hard work. Okay, so me, I'm a developer. Okay, final word by someone famous for his finale and also for his limitations. He didn't want to use limit. He said, no limits were set yet that prevented talent and hard work from going further. Okay, so this is Ludwig van Beethoven. He's also the one that said, the best way not to think about your misfortune is through your occupation. The sentence that I've quoted at the beginning. Okay, so if you have questions, it can be either here and now, or it can be somewhere and later. Thank you very much.